this morning as we advocate for the Be Fair to Direct Care Coalition to support and advocate for living wages for our direct support professionals. My name's Mary Jo Thorne. I'm the CEO for Achieve. We have several direct support professionals with us today, and can I just see our signs and say, let's advocate for Be Fair to Direct Care. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to McGurk's for donating space for our event this morning. I want to say thank you to our host, Assemblyman Clifford Crouch, who represents the Assembly District 122, and Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo, who represents District 123. They have been an ongoing support not only for Achieve, but for the efforts of this coalition. We also have board members in attendance with us today. We have self-advocates. We have a speaker, Mike, who you'll be hearing from in a few moments, that works at our Country Valley Industries to talk about his relationship with direct support professional. And we have Alex Craver, a direct support professional who works in our rehabilitation program. So with that, I would like to call Assemblyman Crouch to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you. This is a very, very important issue. This involves the people that take care of our loved ones, our family members, people with disabilities that need special care, sometimes extra care than what we can even imagine. So the issue of pay is a very strong issue. Last May and June, I hosted 11 forums across the state talking about preserving the rights of people with developmental disabilities. And pay of the caregivers was one of the top issues every place across the state, from Long Island to Buffalo, from Binghamton to Watertown and Plattsburgh. The turnover rate, the issues of keeping good quality staff. My heart goes out to a lot of these people because they love their jobs. You as caregivers love your jobs. There's a number of not-for-profit agencies that are funded through the state, delivering about 85% of the needed services to 130,000 people with developmental disabilities in New York State. They do the important work on behalf of New York State. These organizations support New Yorkers who have autism, serious brain injury, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and other developmental disabilities. The employees are dedicated to the people they serve, but also dedicated to their families and their futures. Caring for people with complex needs is a rewarding yet difficult task, which requires a high level of responsibility and skill. They're expected to give medications, do tube feeding, and a number of other services to these individuals. We're facing a perfect storm that could destroy our organizations and the services they provide. Funding for salaries is inadequate. We have had an average Medicaid increase of 1.5% per year over the last 8 years. State mandated costs are rising, potential 67% increase in the minimum wage, and the new federal rules regarding mandatory overtime payments. State government controls the funding. More than 90% of our money comes from government funding. I'm not a paper shuffle. 80% of the funding goes directly to wages for staff who provide care, direct support professionals, teachers, aides, drivers, cooks, and others making minimum wage or a little bit more. Current workforce shortage threatens all the good work we've been able to do for the people in our care, such as community integration, high levels of support necessary for safety and person-centered choices, civil rights of the people we serve. The quote, 300 days to better pay, end quote. This campaign tells Albany it needs to step up, increase the funding for our caregivers, fair wage for a fair day's pay, and compensate our workforce so much more than the minimum. Albany's failure to step up will be devastating. We are already losing our workers to higher paying places like Walmart and Target, which are raising their pay levels. Vacancy rates for direct service professionals are already at at almost 10% statewide. 1 year new employee turnover rate exceeds 20%. Many people love their job, as you know, but they can't afford to stay as a direct care professional. At some point in time, they have to get a better income. And so the turnover rate, we can't accept that. Our agencies could close, and many years of progress in community integration and deinstitutionalization will be lost. People will no longer be able to choose the activities they wish and engage in because there won't be staff to help them. It's time for Albany to be fair. Include provider stabilization, include funding in the next state budget to start us on a path to an hourly living wage that exceeds the minimum wage over the next several years. And bottom line, to expect people that we give this much responsibility of caring for our loved ones, to expect them to work for the minimum wage, to me, is just totally unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Crouch. I'd now like to ask Assemblywoman Lupardo to come to the podium.
Hello, everyone. It's really great to see everyone here today. This is kind of exciting for me to see all of you engaging in this process right from the beginning. And we'll hopefully see this through the state budget process, and we're going to keep you involved in our progress. I'm here to support the Be Fair to Direct Care and to join Assemblyman Crouch, who was kind enough to ask me to be here. I'm here because this is a bipartisan effort. This is something that crosses party lines, that doesn't end with one party or the other. We intend to work very hard on your behalf when we get back to Albany, and of course the work now is beginning. The governor is putting together his budget at the moment. We're going to make it very clear. Press conferences like this are occurring all across the state with people who are stepping up to say that the individuals who work so very hard under oftentimes difficult conditions deserve a fair wage. And what we are seeing is what Assemblyman Crouch described as the perfect storm. We're seeing a circumstance developing. In fact, it's something that he and I predicted and worried about, and we're concerned would happen, that once we downsized our large institutions and put more of a focus on community integrated settings, which is a fabulous idea, that the resources would not follow, that the care would suffer, that people would not be employed because of the wages, and a variety of other issues that surrounded that lack of resource. So we're here to say, we're going to fight on your behalf. You can clap on that. Absolutely. We are certainly going to fight on your behalf for quality care, quality services, and for the people who do this difficult work. You are dedicated employees, and the people that you serve really appreciate what you do and want that continuity of service. They don't want to have people coming and going, as is the case. Large turnover going on. This is important work, and it shouldn't be subjected to the kinds of problems that we're facing. Again, we predicted it, and we're going to make sure that on a bipartisan level, we make our point. Because I'm sure you're going to be in Albany right behind us when it comes to the legislative session and the budget process. So thank you so very much. We are with you 100%.
Thank you, Assemblyman Crouch and Assemblywoman Lupardo. We know you're always with us 100%. I'd now like to call up Michael Friends. Michael is a self-advocate who works at Country Valley Industries, the employment sector of Achieve, and I'd like to call up Colleen Friends. Michael's sister, Colleen, sits on our board of directors and represents us today as a family member to say a few words.
Hi, I'm Michael Friends. I work at the site at Leicester Avenue, and I am here to I'm very concerned about the change in staffing and the how the clients is treated by the staff, and the salary should be both staff and clients should be paid a flat rate, the same amount of money for regardless of piece rate or hourly.
You want to talk about how staff treats you, the people who are important to you, Mike?
Yeah. The staff treats me really good at CBI and at the Cutler Pond, where I have my black respite, and the staff at the respite house treat me very good. And I like that would those points be known to both Mr. Crouch and Miss Lepardo, and thank you for helping us, and thank you.
As a family member, I've been involved with looking at services for people who have special needs for a long time. And I'm not sure that everyone realizes that these services extend from a very young age for some children through their educational system, all sorts of outside supports and respite services, and all the way through to end-of-life issues. I have seen staff provide incredibly loving and supportive care to a wide range of people. It's hard to believe that we ask people to do that without giving them the reward of having a good living. It's hard to believe that someone making a hamburger for me could be paid a higher wage than someone who is helping to support my brother and other people who I consider friends who have special needs. So I'm here with everybody else just to say that we need to do this. We need to do the right thing. We need to put people first. Not only as a family member, a board member who supports the agency, but also as a taxpayer. Imagine if we're paying a living wage to the people doing this job, and then they go out into our community and buy things, go places. That money comes right back to us. They pay taxes also. So just please consider thinking first of the human needs, and just ask everyone to consider being fair and doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen and Michael. I couldn't have said it better. I'd like to call Alex Craver up to the podium. Alex is a direct support professional who works in our rehabilitation program at Achieve.
Thank you. have to admit, when I was asked to speak at this rally, the prospect was terrifying. It was terrifying because it's something I'm passionate about, and it's a great cause. But I felt I had to do it. I had to represent my coworkers and those that we support. So thank you for this opportunity. For those who are not familiar with the term, direct support professionals assist individuals with disabilities, developmental or otherwise. We provide physical assistance and emotional encouragement to promote self-determination, community integration, and an overall high quality of life. DSPs do everything we can to ensure that those with disabilities have the best day possible every day. We provide a service that most are unwilling to undertake. DSPs are an absolutely vital part of society. And I was asked to speak why we deserve higher wages. And I was like, well, how much time do I have? But I broke it down to basically 2 reasons. And one, it's a tough job. And low wages, often less than $10 an hour, make it much tougher. And 2, and this is just as important, it's tough on the individuals we serve. Low wages for DSPs have a direct and very negative effect on the lives of the developmentally disabled. So why do we deserve more money? It's strenuous work. It's physically and emotionally taxing to ensure this best day possible every day and to ensure personal dignity. It requires empathy, patience, and mental resilience. There is little room for error. These are people's lives. We are subject to high liability, and the pay is not commensurate with that liability. There is no room for loss of cool. We are not afforded grudges. We cannot react erratically or emotionally to a situation. We cannot lose our patience, and we can by no means punish for any action as a form of a resolution. Some of our tangible tasks, we administer medication, first aid, we provide toileting, feeding, clothing, cooking, maintaining safeguards, which is anything from allergies to supervision levels to regulating environmental triggers. We assist with ambulation. We help people who are wheelchair bound, people with cerebral palsy or general difficulty in moving around. This often involves heavy lifting, and this often takes a serious toll on our bodies. Anyone who rides Linda's bus could tell you how their back feels right now. We provide transportation to help people live a normal life and provide community access. We wake up early in the morning to work as bus monitors, and we drive large, cumbersome vehicles filled with unpredictable passengers. We're often responsible for managing several personal crises at one time in a moving vehicle, and that is no easy task. The list of the things that we do are endless. But regardless of the capacity that we work in, all DSPs, we facilitate goals based on wants, needs, interests, and these goals must be met every day to support ongoing education and personal productivity and growth. Some of these settings, like where I work at, are rehabilitation. We provide a classroom-like social outlet, an opportunity for skill development. There's assisted living, which, by the way, almost anyone who works in assisted living has to work overnight shifts. And this is a way to help people embrace adulthood and learn domestic skills. There's respite workers who provide a reprieve for families who care for family members with disabilities. There's workshops like Michael work in, where there's an opportunity to earn a wage. There's community rehabilitation, providing one-on-one community access. And we have to facilitate these goals, and one thing that all DSPs deal with is uncertainty. The uncertainty of whether we'll be subject to or witness of physical aggression. We may have to intervene. We're vulnerable to injury. And while this physical crisis prevention intervention is frequent, emotional crisis management is daily. We deal with rapid fluctuations of mood and demeanor, and we have to support and redirect to the best of our abilities, often when it seems hopeless. And because of our low wages and this high turnover, we often deal with inadequate and sudden changes in staffing. We have to improvise, rely on our instincts, and make quick but important decisions which involve the well-being of others. I asked my coworker Teresa what she thinks the hardest part of her job is, and she hit the nail right on the head. She said, "It's multitasking for everyone's specific needs, all at the same time, and trying at the same time to stay positive in very difficult and serious situations. Not only this, but people's needs change almost daily, and no one can be overlooked. This is difficult, especially in a group setting. It requires constant vigilance and mental organization, as well as a great deal of knowledge of our individuals. We have to be teachers, referees, politicians, and caregivers all at the same time for everyone. And many wear all of these hats 40 hours a week, but rely on overtime or another job to support themselves. Many go from a day hab to a community hab setting, or an assisted living setting, or vice versa. Many work as cooks, bartenders, musicians, DJs, even comedians. I myself am a rehabilitation specialist at Cutler Pond Day Hab. My room focuses on community integration, where I'm out of the building most of the day, which is great. I love it. I supervise 3 staff, and I'm responsible for 8 amazing and very capable individuals. But at the end of the day, I have to get back, and I have a lot of work to do. I'm responsible for all the documentation, monthly summaries, creating goals and implementing them, scheduling activities, scheduling meetings and attending those, employee evaluations, the list goes on, but generally at the end of the day, I don't have time to do what I need to do. And then, most every Saturday and several days throughout the week, I go and pick up one of 2 individuals, one with autism, one with Down syndrome. And I work in a community rehabilitation setting. We go bowling, we eat pizza, we go to the gym, we go to sporting events. And it's amazing. It is so much fun. I can't tell you how much fun it is. But I do this extra work because I need to make ends meet. And like many DSPs who work 50 to 60 hours a week, I'm very tired. I showed up to a training at our headquarters on Riverside Drive last week, a week early. It wasn't just because I was gung-ho, I got confused. But anyway, these longer hours, they do make for fatigue and lack of motivation and an overall diminished performance. And this is potentially dangerous when we're trying to maintain safeguards or drive safely or help people walk. But why do we stay? Why do we stay with this tough job? We stay because we love the people and the work despite the difficulty. If you're not a DSP, you might not be able to understand the personal fulfillment and the self-worth and the joy and the perspective that this job provides. It's difficult to leave when people that you serve become your extended family, people that you can't help but love. And it's difficult to explain to these people why you may have to leave because of matters of livelihood. But why do we leave? We leave because we're fed up with the strenuous nature of the job that does not match the pay. It simply, more often than not, does not provide a living wage. With low pay, DSPs feel underappreciated, degraded, used, manipulated. And they have to find work at a different agency or a different field, even if this is something that they're passionate about and they love and they're good at. And moreover, this field is not attractive when disgruntled DSPs describe their job to their friends negatively in regards to the pay, which again is often less than $10 an hour. You'll hear people say things like, how am I doing this? This is above my pay grade. I could be flipping burgers right now, not to disenfranchise anyone who works hard to support themselves and their family. But they feel they could be doing something else for the same or more money without the apprehension of, say, having to manage behaviors or physical aggression or provide toileting assistance. And so there's this problem of alarmingly high turnover. And why is this a problem? One, it's costly. Administrators spend a lot of time and resources to interview. There's extensive background checks, and in the time that it takes to go through, many people find work elsewhere. But most importantly, low wages leading to turnover provides a chaotic, uncertain, and overall inadequate environment for those we serve. Learning people takes time. The developmentally disabled are some of the most original people I have ever met. They're the most creative and individually unique people you will ever meet. Each individual has their own language, their own social thumbprint. They have their own way of speaking, their own personal lexicon, their own way of listening, and their own way of teaching others how to communicate with them. You have to learn what makes them tick. You have to learn abilities as well as limitations and allow these abilities to flourish. And you are always learning new things, and they are usually abilities. So it takes time to develop these deep personal relationships and trust. You have to learn to trust each other. And when staff constantly changes and people leave, there is not enough time to do this. High turnover is confusing and painful for those we serve, not just because it hinders the forming of this relationship and on-site education, and not just because it's difficult to lose those you've come to trust, but it's painful because many are dependent on a strict consistency of routine to have a good day and to maintain sanity amidst disability. People with disabilities often deal with new staff on a daily basis, and this makes satisfying wants and needs very difficult, perhaps impossible. And the result is that safety precautions are jeopardized and accidents happen. This is unacceptable. Our guys deserve a 100% safe environment, always. Furthermore, this confusion and disorientation of thrown routines leads to a plethora of negative effects. This can lead to anxiety, depression, heightened agitation, verbal, physical aggression, and it inevitably leads to a harder day for both DSPs and those we serve. With lower wages comes lower motivation, lower self-esteem, and it's difficult to empower others when you feel personally demoralized. And again, low wages don't attract energetic, high-caliber employees who are eager to learn, develop, and actively participate in training, employees who are willing to be creative and find alternative person-specific means of providing rich, meaningful days. And this is ultimately what matters most. And lastly, a lack of a living wage makes for stress at home. DSPs are often unable to pay rent, pay their bills, and provide for their family. And this can very easily lead to poor, unfocused performance in a field where selflessness is paramount. And this stress transfers not just to coworkers, but to individuals that we serve. These people are highly perceptive and often highly reactive to stress. And this gift of perception is a beautiful thing, but it can often lead to a serious frustration, perpetuating an overall dysfunctional environment. So, imagine if we could alleviate some of this stress, even just a tiny bit, by relieving some personal or financial burden of these workers who work so hard. Wouldn't we have more focused, motivated, vibrant employees? Wouldn't we have employees able to foster crucial bonds with our individuals? And if DSPs stayed at locations or positions longer, wouldn't this offer some form of certainty for those who cannot always fully dictate the course of their daily life? And wouldn't higher wages manifest a field of attracting passionate, empathetic, and competent employees, perhaps with an education or just a strong willingness to learn? The developmentally disabled deserve an environment which promotes happiness, self-autonomy, and self-worth. And to create this, wages for DSPs need a significant increase. They need to stay well ahead of the minimum wage. There needs to be regular raises, and there needs to be pay commensurate with training, abilities, and responsibilities. Low wages for DSPs is devastating to all parties involved. It's a travesty that DSPs work 40 hours a week and still struggle gravely to support themselves. The developmentally disabled deserve DSPs that work hard, and DSPs deserve fair pay for their hard work. The developmentally disabled deserve the absolute best employees possible. And so I wanted to sum this up with a quote from my good friend Shalise Foster, who I have the privilege of working with 5 days a week. And Shalise is amazing. Shalise knows everything. Sometimes I think I should call my supervisor or call the front desk, and then I think I could just ask Shalise. She knows. She knows everything that's going on. So I was walking with her the other day, and I told her about this rally and that I'd be speaking, and she said, Yeah, I know. Of course she did. So anyway, I asked Shalise, I asked her if there was anything she would have me say on behalf of her and her friends at Achieve. And she said, I quote, "Tell them that you need more better money because you work hard." And Shalise, that meant so much coming from you to say that to me. I really, really appreciate that. You deserve for us to make more better money so we can better serve you. So thank you, Shalise, and thank you, everyone.
I want to thank you, Alex, for speaking so eloquently on behalf of the direct support professionals, and I humbly thank all of them who work at Achieve. I say often they are the backbone of the organization. Without you, we would not be in existence and we could not function. We will work hard and we will continue to advocate on this campaign, as will Assemblywoman Lupardo and Assemblyman Crouch, Senator Akshar as well, until we get a decent living wage for our support professionals. Yes, thank you. I want to thank you all for coming today and supporting our rally. We will ask if anybody has any questions for Assemblyman Crouch, Assemblywoman Lupardo, or myself. If not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I think shared staff and regular staff needs more money because they work hard for us. And they cannot make a minimum wage with a low cut pay. They need more money.
We agree.
I'm here to support them and to help them and to get them, try to get them some more money.
Thank you for coming. We agree, don't we?
I think what he was saying, the staff is not, when they put their houses, they're not making the hours or the money, the time they're putting in. They're not making it. They're not making it.
They need more money, don't
need
they?
more
They
money
do.
to Stay with the people. They love.
They do, and that's why we're here to support that. If no other questions, I thank you so much for coming today. We will continue our advocacy efforts, and we appreciate you being here. Thank you.